You are standing in a forest. It is 50,000 years ago. You haven't eaten in 2 days. Around you are hundreds of plants. Some will fill your stomach, some will kill you in hours. And nobody is there to tell you which is which. No labels, no warning signs, no elder with a book of safe plants. Just you, your hunger, and a world full of things that could end your life before sundown. Most people assume ancient humans just figured it out. Trial and error. Somebody ate the wrong thing, died, and everyone else learned the lesson. And that's partly true. But that's only the beginning of the story, because the real answer is written inside your body right now. It has been there your entire life, and most of you have never once noticed it. Stay with me until the end, because the last part reveals something about your own instincts that most people never discover. Let's go back, way back, before farms, before fire pits, before language existed the way we understand it today. Your ancestor wakes up hungry. Real hunger. Not the I-skipped lunch kind. The kind where your hands shake and your head spins. The kind where you will eat almost anything to make it stop. They look around. There are berries on a bush, leaves on a tree, roots poking out of the ground. None of them have ever been tested. There is no one to ask. So what do? Here's what most people get wrong. They imagine early humans as clumsy, stumbling creatures randomly chewing on leaves and dying. But that is not what happened. Early humans were not stupid. They were extraordinarily careful, and they had tools we still carry inside us today. The first tool was smell. Before anything touched their lips, early humans used their nose. And not casually, deliberately, intensely. Scientists studying traditional forager communities today, groups like the Hadza of Tanzania, observed by anthropologist Frank Marlowe across the 1990s and 2000s, found that experienced foragers could identify dozens of plant types by scent alone. They knew which smells meant safety, which smells meant danger. A sharp, acrid chemical smell often meant alkaloids, the same compounds that make many plants lethally toxic. A sweet, fruity smell often meant ripe sugars, safe and ready to eat. Your nose was your first line of defense, and it still works exactly the same way today. Think about the last time something smelled wrong to you. Not just unpleasant, wrong, like a warning you couldn't explain. That feeling has a name. Researchers call it olfactory aversion. It was the first poison detector early humans ever had, but smell alone wasn't enough, because some of the most deadly plants on Earth smell perfectly fine. So early humans relied on a second system. Something so sophisticated that scientists are still studying it today. It is called your bitter taste receptor system. Inside your mouth, you have something called TAS2R receptors, taste receptors specifically tuned to detect bitterness. And here's what makes this extraordinary. Humans have 25 different types of bitter receptors, more than almost any other primate. Research published by biologist Stephen Wooding and colleagues in 2006 found that these bitter receptors evolved rapidly in human ancestors, specifically in response to the sheer diversity of toxic plants in the environment. In other words, your tongue is a poison detector. It was built by thousands of years of death to warn you before it was too late. When something tastes intensely bitter, your body doesn't wait for your brain to decide. It reacts. Your face scrunches. You spit. Your body floods your mouth with saliva to dilute the compound. It happens automatically, instantly, before you have even consciously processed the sensation. That reflex saved millions of lives, across hundreds of thousands of years. But here's what's fascinating. Not all poisons are bitter. Some of the most dangerous plants on Earth taste almost sweet, or neutral, or even pleasant. Early humans couldn't rely on taste alone for those. So they developed something else. Something that modern psychology didn't even give a name to until the 1950s. It's called conditioned taste aversion. Scientists also call it the Garcia Effect, named after psychologist John Garcia, who first documented it formally in laboratory experiments in the 1950s and 60s. Here's how it works. You eat something. A few hours later, you feel sick, nauseous, wrong. And here's the remarkable part. Your brain automatically creates a powerful aversion to that exact food, even if the sickness had nothing to do with what you ate, even if it was just bad timing. Your brain doesn't care. It connects the food to the feeling, and it locks that connection in permanently. What makes the Garcia Effect extraordinary is its speed. You only need one bad experience, just one. And the aversion is formed for life. In most other types of learning, you need repetition. You need to practice. You need to fail many times before something sticks. But with taste aversion, once is enough. One bite, one sickness. One lesson your body never forgets. Garcia's original experiments showed this mechanism worked even when the gap between eating and feeling sick was up to 12 hours. 12 hours later, and your brain still made the connection. It is one of the strongest and fastest learning systems ever discovered in biology. Early humans used this without knowing it, without naming it, without understanding a single thing about the chemistry involved. But every time someone ate a plant and got sick, their brain quietly rebuilt its internal map of the world. Safe. Dangerous. Safe. Dangerous. Over thousands of years, that map became extraordinarily detailed, and here's the part that should stop you cold. You inherited that map. Not as a memory, not as knowledge you were taught, as instinct. There are plants that almost everyone avoids instinctively without ever being told they're dangerous. Bitter nightshade, hemlock, certain mushroom varieties with sharp chemical odors. Many people report feeling uneasy just handling them, not because they were taught to feel that way, but because the warning is already in the biology, written into the nervous system across generations of accumulated death. Evolutionary psychologist Paul Rosen at the University of Pennsylvania has spent decades studying disgust and food aversion. His research found that certain categories of disgust, including reactions to specific plant toxins, appear cross-culturally, across populations with no contact with each other, the same plants, the same instinctive rejection, in completely different corners of the world. That is not coincidence. That is evolution writing the same warning into 100 different bodies. But ancient humans didn't just rely on their own bodies, they had each other. And this might be the most underappreciated survival tool of all. Language. Even primitive language. Even just a gesture. The ability to say, "Don't eat that. That thing made me sick. That thing killed them." Research by anthropologist Kim Sterelny, published in 2012, argues that one of the primary reasons early human groups survived where others failed was their ability to transmit environmental knowledge across generations, not just through words, through shared observation, through watching faces, through mimicking reactions. A child who watched an elder pick up a berry, smell it, and slowly shake their head learned the lesson completely, without tasting it once. Without paying any price at all. This is called social learning. And for plant toxicity, it was revolutionary. Because social learning meant you didn't have to eat the poison to know it was poison. Someone else already paid that price. And they passed the warning to you so you didn't have to. Think about what that really means. The knowledge that saved your life was bought by someone else's suffering, across 10,000 years of accumulated experience. Purchased one death at a time, and handed forward. That knowledge built up slowly. Forager communities studied today, from the Amazon basin to Papua New Guinea, carry what researchers call ethnobotanical knowledge. Detailed, precise understanding of which plants are safe, which are medicinal, and which are deadly. Passed down through generations with such accuracy that modern pharmacologists have used it to identify real chemical compounds with genuine medical applications. And here's the part that adds another layer. Bitter didn't always mean reject. Early humans also learned that certain toxic plants in tiny controlled doses could kill parasites living inside the body, could bring down fevers, could slow infections. They didn't understand chemistry, but they understood effect. And over centuries, they built a relationship with the plant world more nuanced and precise than anything we typically give them credit for. We tend to imagine ancient humans at the mercy of their environment, guessing blindly, dying constantly, lucky to survive. But the picture science actually paints is different. They were careful. They were patient. They were observant in ways most modern humans never have to be. They shared what they learned. They built biological warning systems into their children before those children ever set foot in a forest alone. They were not victims of a dangerous world. They were the most attentive students that world has ever produced. And here is the part that should stay with you long after this video ends. Right now, somewhere inside your body, that ancient education is still running. When something smells wrong, you flinch before you think. When something tastes intensely bitter, your body pulls back before you make a decision. When you feel sick after a meal, some deep part of your brain quietly marks that food as suspect. Even if every logical part of you knows it was fine, you are still running the same software your ancestors ran 50,000 years ago. The forest is gone. The plants are mostly gone. The predators are gone. But the warning system is still there. Still active. Still scanning. Still doing exactly what it was built to do. The next time food makes you hesitate without reason. The next time a smell makes you pull back. The next time a single bad meal ruins a food for you for years. Pay attention to that. That is not weakness. That is not being fussy. That is 50,000 years of survival intelligence, still working inside you, still protecting you, still making decisions faster than your conscious mind ever could. You didn't learn that in school. You didn't read it in a book. You didn't choose it. You were born with it. Because somewhere back in that forest, someone before you made the wrong choice. And made sure you never had to.